Hi, I'm Carol Pate. Welcome to my broadcast. I'm glad you could join me this evening. I thought I'd get into some different topics. I've gotten into them briefly, I've kind of skimmed over them, but I wanted to get into the areas with a little more knowledge given, particularly dealing with witchcraft and Satanism and Wicca. And I think people are simply not knowledgeable. I find that people aren't even knowledgeable about the word psychic, much less they think psychic's in the Bible.
That's what I was supposed to remind you of.
it goes against the God, it goes against the Bible if you're a psychic. And I really think that needs to be cleared up and cleaned up and kind of let you know what's really valid, what's real.
Do you want to tell people a little bit about yourself?
Do I have to?
No, it's your show.
That's right.
You're the boss.
Okay, for those that are new, I was born psychic. I started seeing spirits, although I didn't know it, at about the age of 4, and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, etc. And I worked with the police on my first murder case at age 12. And I was correct in the information that I got, which got me a reputation, which was really tough in school. It was in, like 6th grade when this happened. And so it was very difficult to deal with other kids because word got around about how different I was. And they started labeling me a witch, which I didn't have any knowledge whatsoever about witch or witchcraft or anything of that nature. I didn't even know what it meant.
Apparently they didn't either.
Apparently they didn't either. Well, I did finally learn, but it took a while. Anyway, I have been working with the police, the FBI, Texas Rangers, and I've done a few cases outside of the U.S. and other countries. And I've been doing that for, since 1983. And actually before, that's when I became a professional psychic.
41 years.
I didn't want to be a professional psychic, okay? I was working with the police and helping people because I was like the executive director of the Kidney Foundation of Arkansas. Sorry, Kidney Foundation. Anyway, but I was always being drawn into murder cases because people were always asking me to, and they didn't know who I was, but they seemed to bring me in to these murder cases to find out what happened. So I was like working with the police and so forth, and I was doing it free, and I didn't want any publicity. I didn't want anyone knowing that I was doing it. And then all of a sudden, this one murder case that I picked up just tremendous amount of detail threw me out of my little dark closet into the spotlight as a psychic. And I couldn't
You couldn't put it back in, could you?
I couldn't fit it back in. It grew too big. So, again, I never really wanted to be a psychic. I never really wanted to be different. I wanted to be like everybody else, which blows my mind because I find all these other people, they want to be psychic, they want to be special. And I'm going, are you crazy? Do you really know what that means?
They don't.
Jeez. Anyway, I started the broadcast because I want to get information out that I have learned over the course of my life, and I want to give it. I'm not charging anyone for it. I'm giving this freely, and I'm doing the broadcast in order to get people educated in the field of spirituality. And consequently, I think it's gone rather well. Now, I'm not here to argue with you on your theories or your belief system. I believe you have a right to whatever you choose to believe, because that's your path to walk, and that's fine with me. I place no judgments. But I do wish to educate if I possibly can. And so consequently, the broadcasts, we're over 100 and
Way over. Yeah.
way over 100 broadcasts now. So we do have another resource. We've got Spiritual Seekers.
Spiritual Truth Seekers, which is a group on Facebook.
Seekers. Yeah. And this is a group of, they're over 1,000 now. There were 1,000.
Oh, there's over 1,100, but we just had, matter of fact, this last week we had 13 people join.
Great. This is for people that need support, emotionally, spiritually, because maybe their families aren't willing to listen to them, or maybe their families or their siblings or their friends or their spouses think they're a little crazy because they want to get into some of the areas dealing with the supernatural and the spiritual and phenomena and that sort of thing, which it all does go together. It is one thing. And consequently, this is a place where you can meet other people like you, and you can talk about things that safely, because other people can't view this. It's not a secret group, but you have to subscribe to it.
It's private. It's public. It's a public group. Anyone can try to join, but the information is private.
Yes.
You have to join to see.
You have to be accepted.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we accept everybody until they prove us wrong.
We don't accept videos.
No.
We don't accept other psychics coming on and promoting themselves or other
Or anything else,
or
promotion.
anything else.
There was
Products,
quite a bit of that
etc.
this last week,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, but once you're expelled, that's it. Sorry. So we've got that going. Have we got any?
YouTube?
Yeah. Our broadcasts now have been shifted over to YouTube. You can get to those broadcasts through Carol Pate's Psychic. Okay? You do have to subscribe, but it's not a big deal.
All right. Well, you don't have to subscribe to see them, but it helps you when they subscribe because they'll know when new content comes out.
Please subscribe. Okay. It'll help. Okay, so we've got that, and we're moving our broadcasts. We're still keeping them on Facebook, and they'll only be held here, I think, after September for
Yes.
30 days, and then they get
Right.
shifted. We'll shift
Right.
them over to YouTube. So, is there anything else I'm forgetting?
No personal
look back.
questions.
Yes.
Call the
Oh,
center
that's right.
for
No, thank you.
Thank you, Roxanne. I didn't have my list open.
Thank you. Well, I'm not doing any personal readings. I'm sorry. Number one, I can't. I use psychometry. I have to touch. I don't pull it out of the air.
You're not
Okay.
doing personal readings on the broadcast.
I
Good
don't.
distinction.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good
Yeah, I don't do
distinction.
personal readings on the broadcast. I am still doing readings, okay? I've been doing readings all the way through all of this. So understand, you can get an appointment for a reading by calling the office, which is area code 501-888-8056. And you can set up for an appointment that way. But I can't do it on the broadcast, and I won't do it on the broadcast. So don't ask me any personal questions. You're welcome to ask any spiritual questions or ask about anything that I'm talking about or the subject matter, etc. Always happy to have you do that. And we are going to answer all questions that have been brought through on this particular broadcast. We're giving it 48 hours for the questions to all arrive, and we will then start working on those. And I do make a point of answering all of them. And there's a lot, by the way. Like 129, something like that, last time.
All right.
Yes.
Your subject.
My subject is
all of the things that people are questioning or not sure they know of, such as witchcraft.
I think I did a little.
You just touched on it.
Oh,
Are you
right.
not going to do any more than that?
Yeah, of course I am.
What is witchcraft?
It's a religion. Witchcraft is a religion. But it started out with females who were healers and midwives. And the church called them witches. They weren't. They were Christian. They were good people. Not all of them were. Some of them were pagans. Now, when I say pagans, the witchcraft itself is a pagan religion, but it can be based on old gods. It can be based on earth or nature spirits, gods. And a lot of it's, believe it or not, built on the moon. Diane and the moon. The huntress.
Diana, yeah.
Yeah, Diana. And so there's variations of it. It's very limited. It's limited to this earth plane, which I find, I don't know why anyone would be limited to the earth plane, but it's okay. When I say that, I mean God-wise. They don't believe like in God, if you will. And it's kind of primitive, actually. And it's really sad because the people are good people. They mean well, but people don't understand what the religion is, which I'm not against the religion or anything. I don't call a judgment on it. It's not my place. It's been around for a very long time because people didn't know. And what fed them and what housed them and what kept them alive was nature. And so they had to look to the sun and the moon and nature to survive. And of course they're going to worship it. It's like the Mayans and American Indians and all your civilizations. But it doesn't come with the benefits of magic. Sorry. And a lot of particularly the newer forms of magic and witchcraft are intertwined in shows like Charmed and, these teenage shows and so forth. And I'm sorry, it's not true. Now, there are people that can actually throw curses and spells and conjurations, but these are people that are very psychically gifted. They were born that way. They came in that way. They chose to use their gifts in a negative way rather than in a positive way. And some of them even thought they were using it in a positive way, which would be white witchcraft. But the problem is you're binding nature and elements from God to you and what you want it to do. And that breaks spiritual laws. It's not a good thing. And it does backfire. And the dark side does use it to get in. So it's dangerous as well. I remember as I was growing up, like I said, people were calling me a witch, and I didn't know what it meant at all, because both my grandfathers on both sides were Baptist ministers, and I was Baptist. And I mean, I was Baptist, like I was on the church steps Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. I wanted to learn everything I could learn. I wanted to be a missionary. Although I had trouble with the religion itself because it had a lot of guilt trips, and it didn't ring right to me. It didn't feel right. And when I'd ask the minister questions about it, he couldn't give me answers. And I felt like he should be able to give me answers if he's spiritual and if he's knowledgeable and if he's a minister. Because I know in the Bible it says, knock and the door will open. And it says to ask questions. It's okay to ask questions. And how can it be okay to ask questions if there's no one to answer? Later, of course, I learned that we all have guides. We all have a minimum. We have 3 guides, and they are the Holy Spirits, and they were given to us through Christ. When he was crucified and he went into the bowels of hell and opened up the tunnel of light for all to be redeemed back to God, and then came back, and during the, I think it was 44-day Pentecost, appointed the Holy Spirits to be our guides and our teachers and our comforters. And they're the ones that can actually give you any answer that you need. And the answers are, they're extremely accurate because they're from God. And then I learned that the soul is almost like a hologram with God, and that we are like a hologram within a hologram. So all knowledge is actually available to us through our soul. And by the way, the word psychic means knowledge.
I brought up the definition. You had asked me to.
Good, yeah. Yes, I did. For you that don't understand or know, when is the date that it got accepted?
Let me start that part. I was going to give definition first. Okay, 1872.
Yeah, that was the year off. 1872.
And it was the word of or pertaining to the human soul from the Greek word. And there you go. And I'm not going to say it.
Knowledge through the soul is what psychic means. That's the true meaning of the word psychic.
And it's defined, excuse me, I apologize for all the throat clearing. It's defined on Webster as lying outside the sphere of physical science or knowledge, immaterial, moral, or spiritual in origin or force, which is exactly it. Mm-hmm. Sensitive to non-physical or supernatural forces and influences, marked by extraordinary or mysterious sensitivity, perception, or understanding.
So it's not of the devil. And I asked my guides, I said, does the devil have any gifts to give us? And they said, no, the devil doesn't have any gifts to give you, but he can certainly twist what gifts you have. Okay, I understand. I really wanted to find out what witchcraft really was, though, because I had just heard, and kids teasing me and calling me witch. I wanted to learn what it really was, because I knew I wasn't that. And I was living in San Francisco, and there was a really nice police officer that I knew. His name was Frank. And he said, you're into all this stuff dealing like phenomena and stuff like that, ghosts, that sort of thing. I said, yeah, I have an interest in it. He said, there's a man you really need to meet. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said he has meetings and he talks on these subjects. And he seems to be knowledgeable on the subjects. I said, what's his name? He said, Anton LaVey. I said, okay. So, how do I get a hold of this person? He said, let me write down his address and the time of the meetings. And here's the phone number. Okay. I said, guys, should I do this? Yes, you need to meet this man. He will give you information that you will need later. Okay. So I went to his meetings, and they were nice. He was a very interesting man. He was a lion tamer for Ringling Brothers circus. And he was also, he did photographs for the San Francisco Police Department of homicide scenes. He also had a lion that lived with him in his apartment by the name of Togar. And it was a rather young lion, okay? And he had a capybara. I don't know if any of you know what a capybara is. They're adorable. They're huge.
Australian.
Yeah. Well, South American too.
Oh.
Yeah. They're really they have no tail, but they're rodents. And this one was about this big.
The largest rodent in the world.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
And he loved to sit in my lap. And he was weird to pet because his fur wasn't like really soft. He's kind of
Coarse.
yeah, coarse. But he was really sweet. I didn't pet the lion. I didn't. I don't know. I just didn't. Anyway, so he had these meetings and they were interesting. He brought up subjects that I'd never really heard of. Well, I found out that he had a photographic
Yeah.
memory. I mean, it was he could read a book and he could read the book without seeing it in front of you. It was wild. So he had all this knowledge dealing with all this stuff. And he was giving us all this information. I thought, wow, this is great. I've never heard of any of this before. And so I was learning all this. I don't know what I was learning. I was learning there was all kinds of other things, like psychometry and empathy and
Excuse me.
clairaudience and just all this really neat stuff. Well, he gets a hair and decides that he's going to write a satanic Bible. Are you coming down with something?
No, they're
Oh.
trying to bother you.
Thank you. Okay. Just checking.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
So anyway, he said that he was going to write this satanic Bible, and he wanted me to meet this man. And I met the man. I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Woods. And he had already written the satanic Bible. And Anton took that Bible and put his name on it. He sure did. And so Anton started the first satanic church.
Wow.
Now, I asked Anton, I said, Anton, do you believe in God? He says, I don't believe in God. You don't believe in God? Do you believe in the devil? I don't believe in the devil. Well, wait a minute. You don't believe in God. You don't believe in the devil. Then there can't be Satanism because you have to have a devil or Satan to worship for there to be Satanism. Isn't that? He said, I believe in debauchery. I believe in you should be free to do whatever you want, wherever you want, whenever you want. I want to open up glorious temples for freedom to do whatever you want. And debauchery.
Wow.
I said, I'm out. I'm out. And I got out. It got too weird for me.
But it was a learning experience.
It was a learning experience. Because he had taught information about witchcraft, what it was, what it amounted to, what it was, the basics of it. And that's what I wanted to know. And I found out I wasn't a witch. I was a Baptist. So, but I learned about Satanism too. And I learned there was his kind of Satanism, which was about the money and fame and power and all this kind of stuff. I remember when I left and I said, I can't get involved with this. I can't do this. I believe in God. I'm sorry. I can't do this. He said, well, I'm going to send a demon, an incubus. No, yeah, it's like incubus. And they're going to torment you. I said, you don't have the power to send me Jack, okay? Get over yourself, please. And I left. I walked out. That was the last time I saw him.
Crazy.
But he was a trip. It was very interesting. I did learn a lot of stuff. So it was well worth it.
That's why they wanted you to meet him.
That's why they wanted me to meet him. It's not good to put on my resume.
No.
But it was definitely interesting. Anyway, I went on to learn about people that wanted to join in, because I met a lot of people that wanted to join into the Satanist situation, and they were there about power, personal power. They wanted to be able to be in control of their surroundings and of the people they were around. And I realized that they were going to him for that power. I don't think so. And I learned that it was more of an illusion. And it was a trap that the dark side sent for people that wanted to be special and wanted to be in control and wanted to have magical powers and to be able to make people afraid of them. So be aware. It doesn't work well. And then I got into learning about voodoo and hoodoo, which hoodoo is a variation on voodoo. And Santeria and some other, I haven't gone through all of them, because I'm here to tell you, there's a lot of them.
I bet.
And there's a whole lot more that are springing up, okay? The kicker is, every once in a while, you get somebody that really knows what they're doing. And they get into this, and they use it, and it works. Because they have those gifts. And I asked my guys, I said, why does God allow them to do that? Man has free will. Okay. But why does God allow it? Man has free will. Man has his path to walk. Man is a teacher to others. Oh, okay. Really? So I took it from a completely different perspective into a whole new light of going, well, these people are teachers and they're not even aware. And my guides helped me to work with the energies of curses, spells, conjurations, hexes, fixes, how to reverse them and send them back to sender, 3-fold, 10-fold, 100-fold. And those that actually could do it, they got their own stuff back. Not anything more. They got their own stuff back to them, only magnified, to teach. Scary stuff. So I've learned that some of it has some truth to it, just like my guide said that every religion in the world has a seed of truth. So when you see people calling me a witch, don't worry about it. They're ignorant. They don't know the history of witchcraft. They don't have a clue as to what's going on.
Or when they say, well, that's not from God.
Well, everything's from God.
I was just using my handy dandy little Bible app. The word seer is in the Bible 39 times.
Yeah. Prophet.
I didn't even look that one up. It's even more.
It's all through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Prophet. And you have to understand the Bible's been translated a number of times. When I say translated, I mean from one culture and language to an entirely different culture and language.
And they were ancient languages too.
Yes.
And even within the same culture, the languages changed.
Yes.
My mother was Greek, but she had to study ancient Greek in school because it was completely different.
Exactly. So you got all of that to go through. I really recommend that you learn to work with your guides. There, if you go to carolpate.com, there is a prayer how to connect with your guides so they can actually work with you. If you'll do it and if you'll follow the information that's there, it'll help to open the door. And don't expect them to talk out here, okay? They're here in your mind. You have to learn the difference between them, their voice in your head versus your own voice in your head, which 99.9% you don't have your own voice in your head, period. Because you usually think in thoughts of pictures or ideas, concepts.
Not words.
Not necessarily words. Unless you're trying to word something. Guides speak to the right, over the top of the head, in your mind. The dark side speaks to you too, over here, left side. Questions? Or we got some?
We do.
Okay.
Are we experiencing multiple realities simultaneously?
That's a good question. I don't know. Some of us are. I have. When you see a ghost, when you go back in time, that sort of thing, it does happen. So
Wasn't there a
yes, where everything is happening at the same time in the Bible. Yeah. But I think most people are unaware, and most people don't care. Most people, the majority of people, they want to take care of their families, they want to put food on the table, they want to pay the bills, and they let a lot of stuff slide right by them. You know, family worries, that sort of thing is in their mind, but the spiritual things are usually not there unless they get slapped in the face with a haunting or something of that nature. You know, something rises up in front of them and drops.
and then unfortunately they don't have the resources to figure out what
To deal with that.
to deal with it.
Right.
Exactly, or scares them half to death, and they just run and hide. You know.
Okay. When do other cultures have their own rendition of the Council of Elders?
Not to my knowledge. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know every culture. I'd like to. I think American Indians probably have the closest. That's where I got that from, was through the spirits.
There's some comments, but I'm going to skip over those. I'm looking for the questions for you. Excuse me. Some say everyone is psychic, but not everyone is attuned to their abilities. What are your thoughts?
I think everyone is psychic. I think all animals are psychic. I think everything is psychic, to be honest with you. And I think you're right. I think they're not attuned. They've either blocked it off or something has happened to them that has blocked it off. But I think it's within everyone. Yes, I do. To greater and lesser extents, according to their path.
We'll do that one later. That was a question about the website. And well, I was going to be more in depth. Can you speak a little about the white light, specifically what some talk has been heard, that not all white light is guides and other beings masquerading as their relatives are coaxing you, only to be quickly ran through some type of soul mill
What?
Soul Mill.
Soul Mill?
That not all white light is the genuine one.
Yeah. And reincarnated with Forth. This is long. So the first part of it is about people talking about white light not being genuine.
White light's genuine. Okay? Now, the dark side they got a little creative, and they got some blue light, and they got some other color lights, and they started telling you that the white light's not legitimate. You're going to be burned if you touch the white light. You're going to be cast in hell if you get touched by the white light, etc., etc. So they've been putting it out there that the white light is not real, and you don't have to get certification for white light, okay? It's for real. It comes from God, period.
Okay. That was the first part of the next question. Okay. What do we do to avoid the false ones? Would the Band of Mercy help with that?
No, actually, Michael, the Archangel Michael, doing the lifting really, really helps. If they talk to the left, of course, human spirits can talk anywhere they want, okay? But very often they can actually be outside of your head.
I think they're talking about the lights.
Which light?
Yeah, which you said there's all these different lights.
Oh, don't worry about that. Just go into the white light. Don't even look at the rest of them. Ignore them.
But they could ask the Band of Mercy in their annual prayer.
Yes.
To be taken directly into the light.
Yes, if you have in doubt, ask the Band of Mercy to take you into the light. In the name of Jesus Christ, okay? It'll be done. Done deal. Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, if I recall, once you mentioned we have a choice, anyway now, to remain and not get sent instantly back to the light.
Yeah, well, you always have that opportunity, and a lot of people take it. Problem is, you may not see the light again for a while. You don't know, and you might get stuck here. Of course, you can ask the Band of Mercy for help.
What if you go shopping at a estate sale or antiques?
Oh, yeah. I like to do that from time to time. I make sure I do the lifting on anything that I buy at an estate sale or an antique sale. And I make sure that I do the lifting on myself and everything I bought and the car that I'm driving.
And you need to be aware, especially if you're sensitive, that you may bring somebody home with you if you don't do that lifting.
Yeah, you really, really can. You really can. And normally, sometimes when I go to estate sales, very often the spirits are there, and I usually have to get them in.
And they're not happy.
No, they're not. Their stuff's being sold off to everybody, and people's going through their stuff. It's miserable for them.
Yeah. Had that happen.
Yeah.
Okay. These are questions about what you were talking about with Anton.
Ah, okay.
Well, they're making sure that it's the right person. Okay. Yes. They were asking questions as you were telling your story because they knew who he was, and they were wondering why.
I would have anything to do with him?
Yeah. Why in the world? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why.
That's why. She finished the story, guys. Okay, let's see. She said it's all about intention,
yeah,
and power, and being powerful. What are you thinking? What that is thinking outside the box, but you learned the trick of the devil and how he deceives.
Yes, absolutely.
She's saying sending you there was outside the box. Well, Carol has had a lifetime of outside the box.
I live outside the box. No box can contain me.
And you're right, that will help people. And that's basically how she's lived her life. She's had to experience things.
Always. Direct.
And then she can help.
Yeah.
That's funny because next someone says, what an amazing life you've lived.
Yeah. I really do appreciate my life. I really, really do. When I look back on it, it's been phenomenal. It's really been phenomenal. A lot of protection.
All right, sorry, I'm having to go back. It sent me back. That's a statement. Lots and lots of statements tonight. People are chit-chatting amongst themselves too. Why do you suppose people get caught up in Satanism? Don't you think they realize that Satan wants to harm them?
No, they don't. They think that, see, that's what the Legion of Glory,
Glory Band of Mercy.
Band of Mercy, the Band of Glory, I'm sorry.
Glory
Legion.
Band of Mercy.
You have to forgive me. I finished my last bit of radiation today, and I'm just...
You're a little scattered.
Yeah, you could say that. Anyway, people want to be special, and the dark side lures them in by saying, I will give you whatever you want. Work with me. You're actually a child of Satan, not of God. You have gifts that Satan has given you. We'll teach you how to use them. You will be in control of your life. You'll be in the control of others. You can have anyone you want. If you want this person, you want that person, you can use your abilities, your new powers to gain with that. People will fear you. They won't cross you. You'll be safe. Come with us.
Everything looks too good.
When it's too good to be true,
that's right.
It's too good to be true. So they bite it. And the kids, especially kids, teenagers, oh my God. You know, you've got hormones going crazy. You've got all these energies going crazy. You don't know who you are. You're trying to figure out who you are. And these people come in and they have this lifestyle that's mysterious, powerful, a little scary. He said, come join us. We're doing magic. We can do magic. Oh, okay. I can be part of. People love to be part of. That's what makes for trends. So they join in, and now they're special. And other people look at them and they go, who are them? They're Satanists. They're into witchcraft. They'll put spells on you. Stay away from them. Now you've got something going on.
Powerful.
It's a con. It's a con. It's a rip. And it's horrific. And a lot of those kids end up committing suicide.
In his question, which you answered that, he was saying, are they just blinded by what they think they can get?
Illusion. Absolute illusion. The great seduction. Yeah. It's a great seduction.
So when they're successful for a while,
They're always successful
is
for
that
a while.
placebo effect, or is the dark side actually helping them?
Dark side actually does help them for a little bit. Until they get them, they're like any bad lover. They get them, and then they start ripping them up and tearing them up. You bet. Until they get them to commit suicide or murder or worse.
I was not laughing at what you were saying. I was laughing at this comment.
Uh-oh.
This is Joe. I still, after all this time, don't know how Carol sits on her own leg all the while and it doesn't fall asleep. It says asleep on her. It amazes me.
That's very much alive and well.
Soft chair.
That's it.
What spiritual causes are there for tendinitis?
Tendinitis?
Yes.
Tinnitus.
Tinnitus.
It just
Usually
wouldn't
they're
come out.
not. I mean, there is really, honest to God, physical reasons for that.
Is there a spiritual way to heal?
There can be. Now, I will tell you this, okay? Let's say you have it in your right ear, not in your left, but in your right ear. And you're a female, and you're married to a male, and he picks you apart. You will shut down your hearing in your right ear, or actually cause a ringing in your right ear. How do you stop that? These two fingers, and you go, I love being able to hear. I just don't like what I hear sometimes. Tap, tap. I don't always like what my husband says. Tap, tap. And it goes away. If it's not a physical problem. If it's a spiritual problem with a spiritual root. Kind of got it?
This is kind of long. She's explaining what happens and then is asking what that can be. One time experienced kind of like zoning out, and I felt like I was in a dream for days. I was getting myself coffee at work in this daydream state. I understood that I was going to get extra money for change out of the coffee machines. Trying to shorten it up here. I was thinking I always get extra money, which wasn't true in reality. And she said, do you think I had...
When she stuck her hand in the machine, there was extra money in there.
I don't know. I'd have to know way more. I'd have to tap into it.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
What is deja vu? And could it be from a past life experience at the same time and at the same moment?
It can be many things. It can be past life memory. When you go to this place, you remember everything in place because you had a lifetime there. It can be spirit attachment that actually has the memory. Okay? It can be a dream where in the dream you went to this place and you saw it and it was a real place and you actually did really go there, and then you've experienced it maybe 3 or 4 days later or a couple months later. So there's a numerous reasons for that.
And there's been lots of compliments on your attire tonight, and that you look
And
lovely.
your hair and blue and
Yeah.
Thank you. You give me inspiration.
I read an article about an archaeologist dig uncovering one of the earliest Muslim worship places with words written near the ceiling about going to your reward to receive 72 grapes.
mm-hmm.
It resembled the word virgin and evolved to be taken that way over time.
Muslim.
Yeah, I'm not really getting...
Well,
are you getting what she's saying?
Yeah, she was talking about the Bible and how it's been translated over time and from different languages, and she was giving an example of an archaeological dig where they found this, one of the earliest Muslim worship places, and the word on the ceiling was 72 grapes is what you receive when you go to heaven, and that the word was so similar to virgin that over time it has evolved into you receive 72 virgins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was your example about the biblical.
Exactly.
Yes.
Everything gets changed. And man always has to put his stamp on it, you know. Man, woman has to put their stamp on it.
Is it possible to communicate with wild animals like deer or fox?
Sure, absolutely. You can communicate with any animals if you can not be afraid, be open, and to allow they will communicate mind to mind. Telepathy.
And weren't you told that they couldn't do that? They weren't supposed to do that anymore.
Yeah, there is a law that young animals will do it because they don't know the law is for like real. But there's a law that as they get older, they're not really allowed to communicate with humans mind to mind. Just kind of a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're completely open with them and they can feel trust through you, it can happen.
And at one time, they were able to communicate with humans.
We were always able to communicate with animals, trees, flowers, everything.
And we lost that over time?
I think that went with the tree of life.
Okay.
Yep.
How long has the Band of Mercy been helping people?
You know, that's a really good question. I didn't even know about the Band of Mercy until I read the book, The Unquiet Dead, and there was a book that fell at my feet. It was 30 Years Among the Dead, and about the Band of Mercy. And as far as I know, since the 1800s. I don't know if they go any farther back.
Okay.
And these are humans, by the way. Band of Mercy.
I'm sorry. We have some very long things tonight. I'm trying to see if there's questions in those or if they're just statements. So I'm having to read over quite a bit. Is it true the moon has aliens that live inside?
Not to my knowledge.
They have their own planets.
Well, yeah, the moon's a moon. There has been some talk of hollow moon. I don't know if it is. I never really asked my guides one way or the other because I wasn't particularly interested. To my knowledge, no.
Okay. How do you grow spiritually besides meditation?
You have to live spiritually. You have to live 24/7 spiritually. And I don't mean according to man. I do not mean that. Because man really doesn't know how to do that. Except it is true. I live by the golden rule that Christ gave. Do unto others as they would do unto you. And I live this on a daily basis. And I try to always do what's right, what I feel is right. If I feel like it's wrong, I won't do it. I listen to my solar plexus. If I meet someone and I feel that they are not good for me, I will get away from them. And I don't make any bones about it. I do not lie. I do not steal. I do not take advantage. I make sure that what I do is correct and moral. That's how you grow spiritually. And when you come to a situation, because you do have lessons that is put in front of you, I ask myself, what do I need to learn from this situation? Rather than to panic or get all disturbed or upset, I try not to overreact and say, what do I need to learn from this? There's a lesson here for me. And guides, please make it simple. If you can just give me one word, just one word, so I can go in the right direction, I'd really appreciate it. And very often they will, and I usually have to look it up in the dictionary, which is normal. That's a good thing. So I recognize that everything happens here for a reason, and it's a reason of spiritual exercises and learning processes and situations. And that's how I take it. I don't believe in death. I know the body can die, but I know the soul cannot. So I don't have the same reaction maybe others do to people's deaths, because I know that they're alive and well. And I do I do my best to try to get them into the light and try to teach the families how to do that for their loved ones. I try to pass on spiritual information. I will not preach. I won't do it. I will not try to shove this down anybody's throat. I won't do it. If you want the knowledge, I'll try to help. I think that's the way you live a spiritual life. It's not in sacrifice, because my guides told me we weren't here to sacrifice. The sacrifice has already been taken care of. It's already been done. Christ did that for us. So I do try to help others, but I don't try to over-help others. And sometimes we tend to try to do that. We try to fix other people, thinking that's our spiritual reason to be here, and it's not. It just isn't. And that's the way you can be taken advantage of real fast, by the way. And you're actually teaching people to take advantage of people by not stopping them, by not letting them know this is not the right way to go.
And question, is it also working with the spirit community?
I work with the spirit community every day of my life because I do the lifting. And I talk to them and I thank them. I thank to God on a daily basis. I really do.
They show things all the time, and that helps you grow spiritually.
It does.
And it gives you confirmation of what...
That's another thing, confirmation. You're allowed to ask for confirmation. You are allowed to ask for proof. I can't tell you how many times I've asked for proof, and I've gotten it. I mean, physical proof. So I'm a doubter. No, not a doubt. I'm a skeptic when it comes to...
Biggest one I know.
I really am. I really, really am. There's a bunch of scammers out there in this field. Jeez.
The question that we asked earlier that was long, he said, thank you for answering that. However, he thinks the last part we misunderstood, which we did.
Okay.
He's asking, do we have a choice now whether to stay in heaven?
Or is it automatic reincarnation?
No, I wish it were. No, we can choose however long we want to stay in heaven or when we want to incarnate. But there are opportunities that will be presented to us for us to learn specific lessons because of the groups of people that are incarnating at one time. So do we want to be part of that group or do we not want to participate? Because there may be a later time that we can do it. So it's by our free will choice, always. No automatic. Thank God. I want R&R.
Are we still in a spiritual war? What is the current energy of the world? That's a very good question after this last week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're still... And they're talking about we're in spiritual warfare.
They're absolutely talking about it now.
It blows me away. They are waking up. They're saying, we're in spiritual warfare. It's between good and evil. Well, yeah.
Always has been.
That's called spiritual warfare. So, yes, we are. And when does it end? I don't know.
Without evil.
Soon.
Without evil, we couldn't learn our lessons.
Well, that's a major lesson. That mankind's going through a major lesson right now.
I don't know how many times I've read this week with everything that's happened over the last week. I have bought a Bible. I am going back to church. I am seeking answers. It's unbelievable.
Yes. Well, Christianity is in warfare. It's just the way. And remember, years ago, I told all of you guys this was coming. There's going to be spiritual warfare, and Christianity's going to be challenged. They're going to be coming after Christianity. And it's worldwide. It's happening. I'm a Christian. That's just the way it is. Not a witch either.
You're getting a thank you. She says, I am fortunate to have met you and received spiritual counsel. shortly after my sister was murdered. Thank you for your insight.
Absolutely. Glad I could.
Do you know what was the truth about the Annabelle doll case with Ed and Lorraine Warren?
Yeah.
Is the doll possessed, or did it really become real?
No, it was a Raggedy Ann doll, actually. And it did become possessed, oddly enough. Well, probably not fully, but, it was used. And they really did have there's like a little house behind their house that they put possessed items and kept possessed items. Ed and Lorraine Warren did.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And they had the little Raggedy Ann doll back there, and it was in a glass or
They
plastic
still have
case.
It's
But
not
no,
awful
she never
scared of
came
it.
to life or did. You have to understand, the movie's based on drama.
It has no soul, people.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Okay. It is nice having someone like Carol with us.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Okay. I know you have, she said spikes.
Spoken.
Thank you. I was trying to figure out what that was. I know you have spoken on it before, but may I ask how to stop people from taking your energy, especially friends?
Cornelian bracelet. This one is a special one. She made it for me.
And I think you have one. The person that just asked that question, if I'm not mistaken, you got one last year at the
Birthday?
Yes.
Yeah, that you have to wear it on your left arm unless you're left-handed, in which case you wear it on your right arm. But if you'll wear it when you're out amongst friends or even in your home with friends and sometimes parents, sometimes siblings, sometimes husbands and wives, okay? You wear it and it will protect your energy. And what I learned was when my husband, when I was his caretaker for 4 years, and he went into some really bad pain, I felt his pain throughout my body. It was bad. And I asked my guys, I said, how can I protect myself from his pain? And they told me to wear 2 cornelian bracelets on my left arm 24/7. And I did, and it stopped. Completely stopped. So those of you that are caregivers, I highly recommend that you get the cornelian bracelet.
Well, that one's extra big beats for you because
Yeah.
you need them.
I do.
Now I couldn't get any more like that, but we do have some other larger ones to sell too, that are $20, and they're the larger bead with the flat
They're
against your
flat.
arm.
Yeah, they're more flat.
Oh no! Well, that's the other one. This one's
Yeah,
not
this
20.
is- this
That's
is-
the one for. I think is it 10,
These
Carol?
These are 10.
I think so.
Yeah, these are 10. Yes, we've got larger and smaller ones.
So, okay. Do you know anything about the Druids?
What do you want to know? I mean, I know a little bit, not much.
She didn't say.
I know a little bit.
That's probably, yeah, I did. I'm going back. This was back when you were talking about how the demonic would sometimes get them to commit suicide,
This is my right arm, right?
and they want to know what the dark side would gain from getting someone to commit suicide.
Well, it wasn't so much as what they had to gain; it was that they were a burden on other people, and that other people didn't want them to live and didn't want to be bothered by them, and how dumb they were, and how they could put themselves out of misery.
And we just showed the other cornelian bracelet.
Yeah.
If you're very, boy, words are leaving me too, and I'm not even on your medicine.
I'm contagious.
Empathetic.
Well, that and sensitive. If you're very sensitive, the larger beads might very well be what you need.
Yeah, or wear 2 of them. One of the 2. I'm telling you, it really does help.
She's asking, when you were talking about the deja vu experience, she said, have you ever heard that it happens because we experience life on a delay? And sometimes we skip ahead.
Yeah, it can happen. I've done that. I did that at a table with a group of people, and they were having a conversation, and I knew what they were going to say way before they said it. It was really a weird experience. It was like a delay there. Yeah.
I was going to say weird for you.
Nothing's weird for me.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's 5 after 9.
Yep.
And the next 4 or 5 questions are, what is the Tree of Life about? Why? I've never heard you talk about the Tree of Life. Can you provide more information regarding the Tree of Life?
Go back to Adam and Eve. That's the best way to explain it. I'm sorry.
People aren't going to, I don't think a lot of people are going to understand what that means.
They don't know who Adam and Eve is?
No, that's not what I mean.
What do you mean?
I mean that we are saying go back to Adam and Eve. What with Adam and Eve?
Well, it depends upon which Bible you read and which book you read. Eve was tempted by Satan to eat of the fruit of the tree of life, which they were forbidden, the tree of knowledge. Okay, it's tree of knowledge, tree of life. And they were forbidden by God. They could have anything else in the Garden of Eden they wanted, everything else except for that. And you know what happens when they say except for that. So Satan slithers in and tempts Eve and tells Eve, eat of the fruit and share it with Adam. So she does. And Adam bites into the fruit. And suddenly they're aware of their nakedness, of sexuality, of everything else. It opened them up to the dark side. That's the simple way of putting it.
And that's when the animals stopped talking to us?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. Well, I read another book, and it got into that, and it said that it wasn't Eve that was
Coerced.
tempted.
Yeah.
That was tempted. It was actually Adam. And I read that book, and I went, "Oh my God!" And I said, "Guides?" And they said, "Uh-huh." They said it was Adam. And I was in my den, and I came out of my den, and my husband said, "You read that damn book, didn't you?"
Wow.
Now, he didn't know I was back there reading the book. He'd been outside. I said, "What? You read that damn book, didn't you?"
Mm-mm-mm.
He was livid. And I went, "Oh, I've got something good here." Thank you. Thank you. Now we've got this makes some sense to me now.
So they did not bite into an apple. They received knowledge that they weren't
received
supposed to have.
knowledge that they weren't supposed to. Yes. And they were thrown out of Eden.
And he said, "She did it."
Yeah.
Well,
That's
that's
a stamp on there.
that goes right back to what you were talking about with the different translations of the Bible.
Yes.
And also, who edited the Bible?
Yeah, which happened to be the Caesar of the land, or whatever the case may be. Or Henry VIII in England. King, sirs.
Yes.
Yeah.
King James.
King James. Yes.
They like to throw things out. What?
And add things in.
Yes, exactly. And change things up.
Yes.
And you and I think
And they're still doing
wish
it.
I had that. I should have saved that about how many there were. But the King James Bible has how many chapters? 6. Do y'all remember? 60?
Oh, please. Are you serious?
No, what we had talked about, the different Bibles, then we had said the Catholic Bible has more, and then the Ethiopian,
Gospels. They
Yes.
have way more Gospels.
Yes.
I threw a bunch of the Gospels out.
and the Ethiopian Orthodox Church has like
The majority.
a huge amount
Yeah.
in their Bible.
So it depends. You're going to have, if you really want to know the truth about the Bible, you've got to study the history of the Bible. Okay? That's just the way it is. And even that you can't fully trust sometimes. Because man changes it. Whatever works.
And you have said what rings true is true.
Yeah. Okay. One last
There's-
question?
Tons of questions.
There's some really good ones too.
Oh man.
Pick
Mhm.
one, pick one.
Here's one. If you broke spiritual laws or haven't been living spiritually, how can you make it right? Repent, sacrifices like in the Bible,
No.
or is there a forgiveness formula?
Yes, there's a formula. God, I ask for forgiveness for all sins I have done knowingly and unknowingly. And I ask to be forgiven in the name of my Lord and Master Jesus Christ. And I thank thee, and you are forgiven. Yes. Absolutely. Knowingly and unknowingly. Because sometimes you're so used to making white lies and things like that.
You don't even realize that you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Ask and you shall receive.
You bet. It's very simple. It's so simple.
That's why people don't get it.
I know.
They think it can't be this simple.
Question.
You want another one?
Yeah.
Laura, you got one?
Do you say amen after the lifting?
No, I do not.
Amen means I agree.
I agree. Who am I? I'm number. See,
And that's one of the things that's gotten kind of changed up over the years.
when you're in a group of people, you say amen because you're all in agreement. Okay. Understand that the lifting is really not a prayer. It's really and truly a formula. My guides have taught me to pray to God. I only pray to God. I do not pray to anyone or anything other than God. I do use formulas, which is I would please ask, which my guides call a formula. Okay?
Not a prayer.
It's not a prayer, it's a formula. Those are all formulas. So I wanted to make that distinction.
And I wanted to bring something. You didn't even realize you were doing it, but as you were saying pray, you had your hands together, and I
Yeah.
don't want people to think that.
No, I don't pray like that. But I like the hands like that, okay? You pray like this. That's what my guides taught me to do. They said you pray with your hands out to God. You're sending your prayer to God. Or your formula to God. Or to yourself when you're doing like curses, spells, conjurations. That's the only time you do it this way. Or a healing. Okay? Okay, we got clarification on that.
I think so.
Good. Okay, we need to wind it up. I'm sorry. It's been a long day, guys.
This is one last question. It's a short one. It's a good one. What if your uniform doesn't allow you to wear the cornelian bracelet that you have to wear for work? What can you do?
Your bra.
No, you have to have it on your left wrist.
Yeah, it won't work any other way. The only thing, can they wear rings?
A wedding ring or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if she's speaking of military or.
I can't answer that. Yes, I can. Thank you. Okay, I got an answer. Take the plastic wrap, any kind of plastic wrap, saran wrap, whatever. Take a little square of it, put it over your solar plexus, get it wet. And if you're hairy, I'm not speaking to the females, but if you're hairy, make sure you shave right there. And you put that piece of plastic there, it will work the same.
Over your solar plexus.
On the solar plexus, just below the sternum, which is the center of your rib cage. Okay?
And there you go. All right. That's going to do it for tonight. We've got lots more that we will get to as soon as we can get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
90.
Are you going to be able to get to it this weekend?
I don't know yet. I'm doing my floor.
Yeah, I know.
We'll get to them. I'll take a break. We'll get to them. Don't worry.
Okay. I thank you for hanging in there with us. I thank you for the questions. They were wonderful questions. And I thank you, Ron, for your question. I fully enjoyed doing the broadcast. I fully enjoyed being with all of you. Thank you so much for participating and for being here. You have a great weekend. So good night and God bless.